We're gonna go into the second segment, pump fake or worthy take. I'm gonna list or name rather a couple of teams that I thought had decent seasons last year and that could potentially build into it going into 2023? Or do we think that it was based off the schedule, too much hype? You know, how the media does sometimes, they'll portray some squads looking better than what they really are as far as the analytics go. But pump fake or worthy take. First team I'm going to name is the Detroit Lions, Taj. What do you think they're looking like going into 2023? Can they build off of
Okay.
a 9-8 season, or are they going to be the same old Detroit Lions we know?
I think the Detroit Lions have a chance to be really good this season. I think they ended on a huge win in Lambeau, sending Aaron Rodgers off into the sun, or not, because he probably would have gotten the playoffs, I think, had he won
Yeah,
that
yeah.
game. So they had that was the big turn for them. They had a lot of close games that didn't fall their way. They gave us a hell of a fight week one when we played them. And throughout the season, everybody got a good shot from the
Yep.
Lions. They're building some. I think that win was huge. They went 9-8, and I think their division is weaker without Aaron Rodgers. And I think the Vikings, who I think broke out last year or did something unexpected, are going to have a fall off this year. They had those one-win games, had everything swing their way, that type of stuff. I don't see it
Mhm.
happening that way. I think the Lions are going to win the division and shake up some stuff. I
Okay.
believe. I believe that.
Okay. I like that. I like that. That's why I put them on the list because the first thing I saw when I was researching them, they had 8 one-score games,
Mm-hmm.
8 last year, which is a huge, huge deal as far as like one play away goes. You know what I'm saying?
Literally.
Um, could have been a divisional winner, like you just predicted them to be this year. Looking at some more notes, they were ranked fifth best in points per game, 26.6, ranked fourth best in yards per game offensively, fourth best offense in the red zone. Like I said, Goff, Pro Bowl year, 260 yards a game, 29 tutters with 7 interceptions, 99.3 QBR. You can't complain with that at all. 4 out of their 5 O linemen return. I do not think that was a pump fake last year. They went 9-8. Like I said, 8 games could have went a totally different way.
And they only upgraded.
Only upgraded. Only upgraded. They bring in they lose Jay Williams, which I mean that's 17 touchdowns right there, and Swift, but they also
Mm-hmm.
brought in Montgomery, so along with Mr. Gibbs,
And
so it's a big
Gibbs.
deal.
Yeah. Nice.
Let me see what else they got. Marvin Jones Jr. came back, I think is a huge sign that Dan Campbell is doing his thing over there because he left. He had a nice little check at Jacksonville for a little bit. Then
Mm-hmm.
they lose Hawkinson, but they drafted Sam Laporta, Iowa tight end, just like Hawkinson. So if he's anything like majority of the tight ends to come out of Iowa, that's going to be a legitimate threat. Um, but their defense has got to turn it around. They have to.
That's him.
Tied 28th worst as far as points per game allowed, 25.1. They let up the most yards per game in 2022, which is atrocious. You just hate to see that. But I do think they're on the up and up. They're going to be a team you cannot doubt or you cannot take lightly, rather, going into 2023. Um,
Absolutely.
Another team, Taji, pumped fake or worthy take the Jacksonville Jaguars. What do you think about them going into
I mean,
2023?
you're giving me a lot of ones I think are just some worthy takes because you know how I feel about Duval. You
Mm-hmm.
know how I feel about Doug. You
Mm-hmm.
know how I feel about Trevor. You know how I feel about the squad.
Yeah.
I think I always ride with Duval. I like them. As soon as they got Doug, as soon as they got Trevor, they had a chance.
Oh
I
yeah.
think that they're going to win the division after coming off of winning their division last year. They're going to win it again. They're going to have year two with Doug and Trev.
Yep.
That's going to be nice. That's going to be really nice. He's got a quarterback that he likes. He's got an offense he likes. He's got a good team. They got a good squad
Yeah.
over there. They got Slide Rid coming in. That's a legit receiver one. He got Christian Kirk, who he turned into a receiver one last year, who's going to be a
Mm-hmm.
receiver two now. He got Ingram, who he made nice. They got a lot of people. I think had they lost a playoff game, though, we don't talk about them the same. I never would look at them the same. They wouldn't
Right.
be in this position. they would not be on the side of they're gonna stay. They would be on the side of they're gonna go. They
Hmm.
would it would be the end of that trial. It might even been the end of Trevor. But coming
You could
back off
argue.
of 4 interceptions and a half, one of what the biggest or one of the biggest playoff comebacks of all time. And they win the game, and then they go into KC and almost win again.
Yeah.
They have a chance. They really rival them. So I think that changes the whole complexion of Duval, and it cements Trevor as someone who's going to be a fringe top 5 quarterback next year. I think he's going to blossom, and Duval is going to have a chance to shake up things in the AFC and add
Yeah.
themselves to that mix of talent and young great quarterbacks over there.
I love that. I love everything you just said. I would have to agree with you. Just as everyone else, like everyone knows the importance of having a game-changing quarterback, like a 1 percentile quarterback. And despite the performance he had in that first playoff game last year, I do believe we've seen it in Clemson. We know what he's good for. Like he's one of them ones, like when it comes down to it. He's one of those
I mean,
guys
he was
you
even
you want
able.
to have the ball. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
he was able to turn it around in the second half. That alone shows his talent.
Hmm. For sure. I love the Jags. I would have to. I wanted to put him in there because, like you said, had they lost that first playoff game, it would. I think it would have been a totally different situation, totally different topic, or totally different perception. Going into 2023. So that's why I wanted to put him on there. I'm gonna give you two more, and I want you to look at these two like in an opposite perspective. These two teams were bad last year, but maybe we think it was a pump fake, whereas nah, like they added a couple of players here. They might have changed their coach, changed their quarterback, whatever it may be, to where they can be good or playoff worthy or on the fringe. Um, Cleveland Browns. What do you think? Pump fake or worthy take? Deshaun Watson, he has another year under his belt. At the end of the day, we know what he's good for. The last time he had a pure season, top number one in completion percentage and yards, was that 2018? So I mean, I think he still has it in him, no doubt. He's still one of those ones. I think another year under the belt after what happened. What do you think about them, the Cleveland Browns?
See, that's a tough one there because I do when Deshaun was in his peak, which he's not
Right.
far out. He shouldn't be very far out of. He's not very much older,
Yeah.
but he was a top quarterback for me. I thought he had the potential to rival anyone he played against. He could be in any game. His team had a chance. He was what Dad would call him the Michael Jordan of football. He was kind of
Right.
looking different. He was special. So if he can resemble himself, come back into form, they have a chance. But the division they're in, I don't see them blossoming into anything special. They have a good team
Mm-hmm.
and they have a lot of talent and they have a lot of depth. But I don't think in a division with the Steelers and the Bengals and the Ravens that they might even finish in the top two. I think they're going to finish dead last, honestly, in the division. So I can't say that they're going to make the jump.
Okay. Okay. I like that. I hear you. Their division is tough, obviously. That is something you must take into consideration. I I would want to say that they can emerge, but it's hard for me to say that they will. At the end of the day, like I mean, speaking for myself, we're just one of those franchises, Cleveland Browns. Like we'll believe it when we see it. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that if a quote unquote peak Deshaun Watson is in the mix, he can change that. I do think so. I
I
firmly
agree.
believe that. Amari Cooper out there. They traded for Elijah Moore. They got David Njoku on the tight end tip. They got Chubb running toting the pill, who's top two right now. You know what I'm saying? He's a dog. Defensively got Myles Garrett on the front line. Their back ends, they're getting there. They're young. Denzel Ward, the warden, he's the veteran leading the
The
troops
lead.
over there. Dog. They have it. They have it. They just got to put it together. But I wanted to put them on this topic because I do think they're one of those teams to look for as far as like, can they? They're
Definitely.
not. I don't want to say they're a couple plays away, but just bring it together. You know what I'm saying? Just bring it all together. They could be very good.
Yeah.
Um, Last team I want to mention here, uh, Broncos country. Let's ride. Dangerous. You get Sean Payton back at head coach. Nathaniel Hackett is gone. Are we gonna see another ghost of Dangerous, or like are we gonna see Dangerous? What do they go for this year? What do you think?
That's a good question. That's a really good one. I think about this one a lot because
Yeah,
I like Russ, and I thought Russ
right.
was going to cook a little bit last year,
Yeah.
but their
Hmm.
situation clearly didn't work out. And when Sean Payton came at Hackett, it made me think: is the team that bad that he's saying this, or is
Right.
he just trying to be like, "Oh, nah, Hackett was that bad"? I don't know.
Yeah.
So that makes me a little skeptical. But I think Sean Payton, great coach. I think
Right.
Russell Wilson, great quarterback. I think they could have a great relationship, and I think Russ is not going to look like that again. I think that he's working his ass off, and he's gonna
Right.
play ball. And the people in Denver want to play some ball. They got a good team. They got a solid squad. I mean, I think they will be better than last year, and I think Russ will be better than last year.
Hmm.
Do they contend for a playoff spot? I don't know.
Right.
But are they a better team? They're definitely not a laughing stock. They're definitely clearly better than they were. They're definitely going in the right direction with the moves, I think.
Right.
They will definitely not be where they were last year. They'll be in a much better place. I don't know that they'll be in the playoffs, like I said, but they could be fighting for a wild card spot.
I like that. I
Possibility.
agree. I agree. I mean, looking at the rankings here on Pro Football Reference, they were the worst offense in the NFL, as far as everything goes. So, I mean, he can only improve. That's for sure. He can only
Yeah,
improve. I do think like I think people under appreciate the relationship a quarterback has to have with their head coach. I think we saw that with T Law and Urban Meyer. I don't think they got along at all, and that shows. And then you see him go in there with Peterson, totally different season. It's a big deal. Sirianni, I think, got into Jalen Hurts' head a little bit, and then remind me of your QB coach about to be OC now. I can't remember his name right
Brian
now.
Johnson.
Yeah, I think he got into him. It's important. I think it's very very important in the NFL. Whereas like you think of the NBA as more of a players league, like it's more dependent on the players. I think the NFL is much 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 more dependent on relationships between head coach, offensive and defensive coordinators. So I
Absolutely.
think that this is going to be a very interesting tandem to see. They're both very respected. Their resumes speak for themselves as far as what they're good for at their position, at their roles, being Sean Payton and Dangerous. I think that they're a good combo to try and right the ship because, like I said, they can only go up from last year. Do you think as far as it pertains to the Raiders, do you see them being a better team than the Raiders this year or not? Jimmy G going in with Devontae,
And Josh Jacobs is back.
right?
Um, Jimmy G's a winner, man. I can't take that away from him.
Okay.
He's back with his boy McDaniels, who was his boy back on the
Yeah.
Patriots when he
Yeah.
first started
That is
playing.
true. That is
So
true.
McDaniels got somebody that he likes finally.
Hmm.
Um, if they just be a little like they are Patriot guys, then I think the Raiders will be better than they are. I mean, the
Right.
Raiders defense.
Sorry, it's mid tier. I mean,
Yeah,
you have Max Crosby, who's game
animal.
changing for sure. He's game changing for sure. Chandler Jones,
First,
he returns
yeah,
as well.
Chandler
He's a
Jones.
dog. But you think of like their back and it's like Joseph Abrams, guys like that. Like they
Yeah,
still have much more to prove. I'd say.
had an old Casey Hayward. Like, yeah, they
Yeah,
definitely got something to do over there.
yeah.
So I don't know what they're gonna do there, but I think the Raiders are gonna be all right. I think that's a good question. I think the Raiders will be better than the Broncos.
I wouldn't be surprised if it were to pan out that way as well. There's no doubt about it.
Not much better.
Right. And when it pertains to their division, like you're fighting for third and fourth. So I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
you know,
exactly,
so it's not really
exactly.
much you can say about that. Respectfully. We're all
Yeah,
respectfully here,
like
but
they
you
just
just gotta call it
gotta
how you see it.
somebody's gotta beat Pat
Right.
because has he? Hey, they've never the Broncos have never beat him.
Because that now that you mention that, that is That has me curious. No, it was 29-30 Chiefs. So they barely beat them. The Chiefs barely beat them
Barely beat
29-30. For some reason, I thought the Raiders won. Respectfully so. It was Monday Night Football. Let me see. Derek, 2 tutters. Josh Jacobs, 21 for 154 and a tutter. And then Devontae was 3 catches, 124 for 2 tutters. That is disgusting.
Ew,
That is
ew,
absolutely disgusting.
ew.
Absolutely disgusting.
The boy.
Gosh, that is disgusting. Oh, man. All right. We're going to do what we all know and love.